So the fleece show that's been developed is called the Innovate Fleece Assessment. So where it differs from our traditional fleece show, the fiber, the fleeces as they're brought in, they're laid out. And what we're going to do is take samples from the shoulder, the mid-side, the rump, and the low mid. These samples, as we are taking them, are representing those 4 areas across the fleece, and they are placed over into the trays to go to be measured on the FiberLux machine to look at the fiber diameter. So the diameter of each of these samples is then assessed and recorded, and an average fiber diameter across the fleece then determines which grade the fleece goes into. With the IFA system, we also measure the length of the fleece. So we measure the fleece from the cut end, from the skin out to the tips, and we measure it in its relaxed state, and we also measure it in its stretched state. That's certainly relative to then when we're processing the fleece, we want to see that stretched length. And then we record that and we look at how many days it has grown, and then we calculate how much that fiber is growing per day. Really important to the producers because it starts identifying your fast growing fleeces, your slower growing fleeces. We don't put them into age groups, which the traditional fleece show is looking at them relative to their age groups. What this is looking at is the fiber that's growing on the animal at that moment in time. So certainly when we're seeing older animals that are maintaining fineness and uniformity across their fleeces, that's a very positive characteristic that we want to see. We obviously want to see our young animals and our juveniles having as fine unifying fleeces as possible. But in the IFA system, it opens the doors to all ages and all fleeces and all grades, which is so important for us then to take this fiber and put it into end use and into production. The system really is taking the whole fleece into account, looking at the qualities throughout the fleece. Over 30% of the scorecard is related to uniformity. So that's something that we want to do, all of us as breeders, is produce usable fleeces across as much of the alpaca as possible. So the IFA is a very educational judging system and also gives us lots and lots of information back.
A quite amazing thing with Innovative Fleece Show is that you're actually getting an overall picture of what your fleece is. So when you have just a fleece assessment compared to a traditional fleece show, there, like, all the paperwork and the machines aren't there. So you're eyeballing it, and everybody will see fleeces a little bit differently. Whereas here, this is a little bit more concrete. It actually gives the producer more information. So even for myself, like if I had a fleece in the fleece show, I would actually be able to know, rather than just a mid-side sample, which we would traditionally go and test, then this way we actually get to see what the whole blanket is, not just the little piece in the middle.